All right. What's up, Brian?
Hello, everyone. What's going
Hello.
on?
I just started the stream, so you don't see my face. You just see these talking polls right now. Just a second here.
All right.
I'm going to get this posted. It's going to take me a minute to get here. Protricks live stream. Sorry, everyone. This is always the preliminaries. I'm right here. Just the preliminaries. Gotta post this onto the stream channels just to get people involved.
Right.
Today I thought we'd stream on
Indigo said he was coming last week.
session. Enjoy. All right. Just a second here. So I publish this and then I'll put it on Facebook and then we can get started. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. I just can't. I don't know how to do it yet, where it's like I can't get the YouTube link until I start streaming it. So then it's like, then I got to post it. I wish there was a way I could get the stream link without it posting right away. It's probably something I could do. I just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Almost ready. Post this. We'll share it over to the Protricks group and we'll get going. Share. Boom. Right. One more thing I want to do is bring up the YouTube chat because I'm sure people are going to ask questions. People are probably wondering what's going on. Gotta love these impromptu kinds of things. Give me just a second here.
All right.
Pop out chat this.
I saw the impromptu live stream.
What's that?
I see you did an impromptu live stream, so we know it is working.
Yeah, everything's good now, which is cool. I was having some issues before, but I think we're good now. Downloads, password, 0, zoom. Gotta zoom this in. A little bit bigger. All right. Well, welcome everyone. Usually on Sundays, we do something called Protricks. That's on the Patreon page. We do private lessons where we kind of get together as a group. It's been a little bit quieter on Sundays, so I thought it'd be kind of cool if I could just share. Well, I just figured we'd stream our session over YouTube so you can kind of see the things we work on and things of that nature. On top of that, thank you, Brian, for I'm just like on top of that, thanks, Brian, for like allowing this to be broadcast. This is Brian. He's one of my students. He's been a student for a while now, and he's been getting quite a few tricks down. With that said, I may answer less questions on this stream. This is more just to kind of showcase some of the things we teach. Shows how I can kind of watch the stream and watch other people and help them along. But I will answer some questions, so feel free to ask questions if you'd like. Just know it may be a little bit slower in the response. With that said, I'm gonna focus on Brian and whoever else wants to join. Sometimes, I mean, right now our Protricks live stream, again, it's like this Zoom class that happens every Sunday. And I would say we get anywhere between, I mean, we don't get a whole lot right now, between 1 to 4 people is usually what we have. So it's this nice little training session. If you're ever interested, you can just find it on the Patreon channel, patreon.com/Protricks. So how's your week been, man?
Great.
Yeah? Anything new or exciting in your world?
No, sir. I did see some new people doing tricks on the cereal, and now I almost have to get one. Like I really like it. I seen and I seen them do some stuff that was real cool.
Yeah, well, yeah, cereal is awesome. It definitely takes a lot of practice, that's for sure. But it's one of my favorite things to do. It definitely can keep you in shape, especially in the beginning.
Is that fun?
Huh?
Is that fun?
Oh, it's a blast. It's like a roller coaster that you can control yourself into. Yeah. It's just really hard. Like I can't, it was probably one of the hardest props I've had to learn myself, but I feel like if you're an acrobat or someone that has a flipping background, you could probably get it a lot faster. But since I've never been really upside down up until the steer wheel, I definitely had some struggle.
Yeah, I saw some guys. They were acting like this guy from the Matrix, the guy that always chases Neo, and they were doing serial, like,
Oh, yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So there's something I was practicing that I thought would be kind of cool. I mean, this is just a single chuck, but the idea of, we never really worked too much on plane bending, which is basically the idea of taking a beat and being able to bend it without stopping it. So like, for instance, we're going from horizontal straight into vertical. So we're doing, did we work on the horizontal two beat? I'm pretty sure we have a right?
The alternating fire flowers, these, I call these fire flowers. That's what I've seen them called.
Sure, fire flowers, yeah. This is
like,
really just,
I've seen them called.
we're just doing like this horizontal two beat, and then you can actually turn it into a three beat weave vertically without stopping it. And the trick to this motion is actually a very slight stall. There's also another technique, and just to show you, you can start with this also by just doing one hand, where you're doing a horizontal figure eight, and then you can turn it into a vertical figure eight simply by adding a little bit of a stall into it. But most people can't see where the stall happens. But what you can see here is like this little loop that happens, and then we twist it upwards to bend the plane. So I was thinking maybe we could work on just keeping like this seamless transition between plane bending, basically. Basically the idea of not stopping, but being able to change where we are with the chuck. Slightly advanced concept, I would say, but it's a good one to learn. So if we're, actually, let's just start with one. We'll just start with one. You can do a horizontal figure eight wrist roll, right?
A horizontal figure eight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, horizontal figure eight. I don't think, okay, so me and Brian usually work on doubles. So actually we haven't worked too much on the single part. So this is a vertical figure eight where we're going from where the chuck is swinging in a vertical motion. You can see in up and down. Horizontal is gonna be like, it's gonna smack you from the left cheek to the right cheek or vice versa, right cheek to left cheek. So it's gonna be this direction, or it's gonna be the opposite, which would be this direction. Goodness, I really got to get my favorite chucks fixed. My absolute favorite chucks broke, and so bummed.
The original dark modes or the new dark modes?
Correct. I just used them to death. So what's interesting is I'm definitely used to a certain length of chain, and if I don't have that length of chain, my muscle memory will automatically like try to reach for the thing I've been doing for years. It's all good though. I'll use these for now. But you can see like there's this endless type of spin that we can do, this endless kind of bending that we can do where we can actually make a square all the way around. Just a second. Also, just want to give a quick shout out to Ryan Henderson and Elise Shaw. Welcome, welcome. All right, man. So let's do it without the rules. How about that? Let's see if you can do it. Okay, so this is the very most simple part, because we haven't really worked on plane bending yet. So at its most simple part, we're making a circle above the shoulder. Remember, when we're going horizontal, we want to keep the arm very straight around shoulder length, because that shoulder will get in the way. If we drop our arm, the bicep gets in the way of the nunchuck. So we kind of keep it shoulder length. We go above it and below it, right? Now from there, there's two directions we can go. When we're going above right here, we can swing it to the right. So once over here, we can swing it to the right to get this bend that happens here instead. So you can kind of get like a different kind of figure eight like this. And that's kind of the practice that we want to work on, is how do we get to there? And what's going to happen is as the chuck is spinning, the moment it gets to the outside, we pull it down to change the direction. So as this is going horizontally, the moment it gets to the outside, pull your hand down, and you'll be able to get that reversal like that. You can kind of see how I just kind of like, once it gets to the outside, I pull it down and then it changes it. But it just happens that it's such a fast pace. This is very different than the figure eight that goes down here. It's the same concept though. The moment it's on this direction, that we just pull it down here. This one's the opposite. The moment it's on this direction, we pull it down. So it's the same pull down that's happening from this horizontal version. Really, it's still going down here, except for we're waiting for it to get to the outside. And then we're really yanking it down so it can change the whole plane completely. Again, this is kind of a, we're working on a more advanced concept, but it's going to be something that can help you with flow, of course, because if we're, well, I just put these away. If we're working doubles again, we can immediately go from horizontal to vertical without stopping. There's a lot of options you can do the moment you can start finding those points. So for you, Brian, because you've got so many techniques already down, I figured it'd be kind of fun to give you something a little more challenging.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
So it's here. The moment the chuck gets to the outside, the moment the chuck is out here, pull it down, and then you got the plane bend right there. Boom. And then the moment the chuck, when it's on here, the moment the chuck is facing towards your arm, so when it's on the inside, so you notice how this chuck is spinning, in a circle while standing sideways.
Right.
The moment the chuck is by your arm like this, swing it out this direction, and we'll get it back to there. So you're waiting for it to kind of go right next to the elbow, and then we're pulling it sideways, and we're back. So outside, arm. Oh, that's hard to keep it going like infinitely, but it's going to look like a really sloppy if you go back and forth. But when you do it with the hand roll, there's going to be that little bit of a stall that happens here. Whoosh. Let me see. I'm totally slopping it up. With the hand roll, we kind of give it a little bit of an extra beat here. For me, the underside's a little bit easier because there's two different variations. We're on the bottom. We can take it to the back down there. So that's how I usually do it. This one's actually a little bit harder for me to get. But again, it's going to be here. When we get to the outside, swing it out this direction. Pull it down. There you go. Good. Good. Tricky, huh?
Yeah, I keep hitting my arm.
It's because your arm's too low right now. So as you're going horizontal, the more you lower your arm, the more your bicep gets in the way of it. So do you keep it straight up like this? Do you see how your arm is a straight line? As you lower it, this becomes more of an issue, as when we raise it and we're completely shoulder width, it won't hit so easily, see?
Okay.
So yeah, keep it a little bit higher. All right, Brian, here comes the big one, because this is not very fun right now in itself. I don't find it to be very fun. Do a horizontal figure eight now. So we're going up and down. The moment it's on the top and it goes to the outside, pull it down and do a regular figure eight. And then we're going to pull it back into the horizontal. It's the same exit and entrance points that we just worked on, which is, again, when we're doing this one rotation, the moment it goes to the outside of our shoulder, we pull it down, and that becomes the regular figure eight. And the moment it's close to our elbow or bicep, we pull it to the side. So this motion is we're just using these exit and entry points now to do it with actual figure eights. So we're doing this. Once it's at the top, we pull it over. We do this figure eight, and it's going to be the same thing. Once it reaches over by the elbow, we pull it sideways, and we're back. I think it's a really fun one, especially again, once we start like using it in hand rolls, it has like a different flavor. Up, down, side, side. Make like a box.
Yeah, I'm not getting the hand roll all the way. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look and see what's going on. By the way, hello, Mr. Cadden.
I'm going to try to do it with the hand roll.
Yeah, let's check it out. And again, if you're just joining, we usually do a Zoom session. It's on my Patreon page, but every Sunday we usually try to get a Zoom session around 1:00 p.m. CST. And I just thought we'd share the session. But if you're interested in learning, or having some lessons privately or in a group session, just check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/flowtricks. Otherwise, I just want to share this with you guys. So I just thought it'd be kind of fun to show what we do in our Zoom classes.
This is the horizontal. I'm trying to do a horizontal figure eight.
Okay. So that's a vertical figure eight right now. And the way you can tell is because it's going up and down. If it were to hit your face, if it uppercuts your chin, or if it hits you on the top of your head, you're in the vertical plane. If you were to hit your cheek or either side, that would be the horizontal. So with the horizontal figure eight, what you're really looking at is your arm is straight, but then your wrist bends up to get that wrist roll on the top. And then as it comes to the bottom, your wrist bends almost downward. It's a very, you can kind of see how my wrist really extends itself up and down. You can see that wrist motion. So hand roll up here, hand roll down here. This is good. You know, I guess we never really worked on the horizontal figure eights before, you know, the horizontal figure eight wrist rolls, and that's pretty cool. It's kind of hard to do with doubles. I know like we've been primarily working on doubles. You can eventually get those horizontal figure eights, but I generally try to separate my hands when I do that, just because they really get in the way.
Yeah. Just a little bit like it.
Ooh, it's getting closer. Get your hand up just a little bit more though. Remember when your arm is down, you're gonna hit yourself. It's gonna wanna go more vertical so you don't hit your arm. Get it like right at the shoulder. Yep. It's tricky, right?
Yeah, you get my wrist to want to do it.
So again, yeah, we're gonna go here. I mean, the plane bend again, if you're just joining us, we're working on plane bending. It's kind of a newer concept that I don't do too often myself, but I thought we could work on it. Brian's been training under me for a little bit of time, so I thought we'd try something a little more complicated, and that's simply plane bending from a regular figure eight to horizontal figure eight seamlessly, and then adding wrist rolls to it without stopping, basically. We're not trying to stop the roll. We're just trying to keep it going. So as you can see, usually what a person has to do is they have to catch it and then change it. In this one, we're just trying to learn how we can get a chuck in a very specific position and then change it. So if it's spinning this way, once it comes to here, we change the plane automatically without stopping. And as I said before, this helps even when you're in doubles, when we're doing these rolls, you should be able to go straight into horizontal to verticals. If you can have access to this, then you have nice little patterns that you can do to just weave in and out of different types of motions. And what it really feels like is just a very subtle stall before you change the motion. So like all the power just starts to lose itself, which will allow you to change the direction the moment it does. I won't get into this too much more, Brian. I feel like I kind of want to show you off to everyone too, how to show all the stuff you've been working on. Okay. I'm just giving you something hard right now.
Okay.
But this concept, Brian, works with so many things. I mean, don't just think that just because we do this to this, that's one plane bend. You can plane bend any direction. So like the ability to, and if you do too much, it looks a little wonky. It just kind of looks like it's flipping and flopping all over the place. But if you add hand rolls and you get a little bit of spins in there, you can plane bend in so many different angles and variations. There's probably a whole style you could build, you could come up with it just to make this movement that looks really organic. I'm going to read off some of these comments really quick here. Miss MUI fan says, I'm your fan. Indian fan, Ken Hill. I learned many of your nunchuck moves along with the 3-beat weave. That's awesome. Good. I tell you what, we've got like, Brian, I don't know, man. I have more people that watch from India than any other place. India actually has more views than the United States, which is really interesting. I get most of my views, most of them come from India. So that's awesome.
I know.
Mm-hmm. So we get a lot of Indian commenters, which is fantastic. I just feel like someday I just need to go to India. Mr. Cadden asked if I could make a video on rope dart or any other weapon. Yeah, no, I think I should. I mean, the whole reason why I changed flow tricks or nunchaku tricks to flow tricks was because I wanted to teach other props too, because there's a lot of them. Let me just see, like, I don't really know the names of the rope dart moves, unfortunately. A lot of it was stuff I transitioned over from nunchucks, but yeah, I definitely would consider it. Yeah. Oh, nunchaku flow tutorials. What's up, man? Hope you're doing well. It's good to see you again. Please show the 3-beat weave once. Okay. Mind if I show this real quick, Brian?
No, I'm going to keep working on my plane bending. Wow.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
3-beat weave, if you want to see what a 3-beat weave looks like, I generally say you're trying to create 2 circles, right? So if I'm standing facing the camera, we're creating 2 circles, 1 on each side. A 3-beat weave looks like this in slow motion with my arms extended. 3-beat weave looks like this. As I go faster, you're going to notice the arms are kind of moving. They're crisscrossing basically. So my arms are cross, they uncross, they go back to cross. Wait, sorry, it's the other way around. Sorry. My arms are crossed, they uncross, and they go back to cross. I was doing the reverse. And then it drives itself downwards, uncross to cross, and then it drives itself downward. That's the 3D weave in slow motion. As we speed it up, the arms will just start to kind of get this motion where they're crisscrossing back and forth from each other. This is a better one. But as you get better at it, you slowly bring it in. Because right now my arms are crisscrossing up and down, right? And then my elbows are crisscrossing up and down. And then my wrists are crisscrossing. And then my fingers are crisscrossing. So basically you start off big motions. And as you get better, you get smaller motions and then smaller motions and then smaller motions. To the point where you eventually you got this nice little tight 3D weave. But it all starts with big arm movements and really crossing over, driving it down, cross, drive. And if you were to watch it from the side, if it was from the side, it would look like this. Slash, cross, slash, cross. Without the chucks, that's the motion that we're looking for. Here to here, drive it across. And then eventually it'll just be, you won't have to move it so much. It'll just be like this or like this. Depending on how comfortable you are with it. Oh, thank you, Alistair. I appreciate that. Always gotta find new and fun things to do with the nunchucks, I think. All right, Brian. So I feel like let's go over some of your old tricks. Again, if you're just joining us, I just do this Protricks stream every Sunday, and we do a Zoom class for people that want to do some more private lessons. I just thought that it'd be kind of fun to share, and Brian agreed to it. So heck yeah. All right, let's cover a few things. Let's go over some of the basic doubles things that we've been working on. We got the butterfly. Then what we'll do is we'll do a butterfly to a stall with the left hand, turn 90 degrees, and do a 3D weave. Good. Okay, we'll go back to the butterfly. I'm just going over like a rehash of some of the stuff we've worked on. We'll do a double stall to a reverse butterfly. Good. All right. We're gonna go back to the butterfly again, regular butterfly. We're gonna do a stall. We'll go to the 3D weave, but then we're gonna turn 180 degrees to a reverse 3D. Nice. Heck yeah, man. Good job. Yeah, that was good. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do, how about this? We're gonna do a 3D weave. We're gonna turn into crank. And then you're gonna do an underhand throw. We just started working those. So get it under and catch. So 3D weave, turn to crank, underhand throw, catch. Nice. Watch that underhand grip though. If you get it an overhand throw, then you can continually do it. If you catch it in underhand grip like this, you can do it, but you're eventually gonna have to wrap up and change direction because you'll reverse the direction otherwise. Like this will reverse the direction unless you wanna just do back to back to keep it. It's that grip, right? We either get used to catching things in back grip or catching things in front grip. Understanding both is really important because if you catch in back grip, you can literally redirect it just by pulling the opposite way. But if you catch it in front grip, you keep the direction going. So there's a strategy depending on how you want to grip it. If you're catching it in that underhand grip, it's really easy to redirect. And like I said, if you want to redirect it, you kind of catch it high up and it makes it a lot easier to pull it backwards the other way. Or if you catch it up close, you can wrap it and almost do like a back to back, but just let it become a bounce. So you throw it up, you catch it, let it bounce, and then it goes the opposite direction. So what's happening is it's basically wrapping and redirecting back the other way. All right, Brian. So you're in the reverse butterfly. Let's just do infinite throws. See how many you can do before you either drop it or lose it.
Okay.
So infinite throws will be reverse butterfly 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
See how many you can get. 1. I don't. This is the ultimate. This is the hard one. This is a super hard one. This is something I recommend for anyone working doubles, though. If you want to work your throws, a reverse butterfly, or keep them, basically make it, if you were to hold the chucks out, they'd go up by your chest, both of them. Reach under and throw, and you can do this forever. You reach under and throw, you grab it, you go back, and then do the other hand. Whoosh, other hand. Good, good. I noticed that your right hand, you have a lot more power. It's really going more to the outside. Remember to give it like more of an upward lift if you want height and more control over it. If you pull it backwards, it's going to really, you may have to chase it to the outside.
Okay, okay.
And while he's doing that, I'm just gonna do a couple more shout outs here. Let's see. 3-beat weave is cool. How do you pass it behind the head? I find this hard. Oh, and what's up, Santiago? 3-beat is cool. How do you pass it behind the head? Do you mean like, how do we do like this type of motion? Was this the question you're asking? Like how we do this kind of windmill? So we're doing a 3-beat, and then we have this nice one that happens over the head. Was that the one you were talking about? I noticed you said pass though. So I was wondering if maybe you're also just talking about like a pass behind the head like that. Wasn't sure. Ah, Brian rocks. Yes, he does. He sure does. Brian's awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Alistair asked if I do martial arts. I did martial arts for 13 years prior to all of this. And that's actually kind of how I got started into the flow scene. I just used my martial arts training as the basis. But then I just kind of took it my own direction after that. Also want to say hi to Forest Life. What up? What up? Nice, man. Good. Now, me and Brian just started working throws. I actually was showing him throws at the very last, maybe the last month or so. So for all that he's accomplished so far with the throws, I think this is great. Like this is not an easy thing to just keep doing over and over, especially when you first start out with it. It says with the infinity, I find lower grip gives more control. Which infinity are you talking about? Oh, the weave, this thing right here. It's probably because you're not used to swinging your chucks over your head. I think even Brian's been struggling with this one too. We all have. I mean, we're spinning it over here, but it ends up looking more like a 3-beat weave this way. This is like where muscle memory wants to go, is this direction. So when you do the 3-beat over your head, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to really get that full motion up and down. The natural tendency is if you don't have it nailed down, the general tendency is to go from left to right. But this has to go from in front of the face to behind the face. It's always better to start with one first and see. Well, you'll notice, look at my wrist. You see how it's kind of dragging itself back and forth like this? The wrist is actually leading this motion. At least with my right hand it is. The pinky finger leads with the other side, but the wrist is leading it. So you can see I'm using my wrist to pull it backwards behind my head and then to pull it forwards. Now the thing to remember too is there's going to be more of a sagittal motion. It's going to be pushing in because you don't want to hit your face. Sagittal is kind of like a punch. It's like this forward and backwards motion. So as we go behind, we really have to make sure that we clear the head. So the hand, as you can see, my hand is like here. And then when it goes behind, it's really trying to clear that face. I guess is what I'm really trying to say. You really want to make sure you have this back and forward push so you don't hit the side of your head. But the way to practice is just, you could stand in front of a wall even and just hold the chuck like this in front of your face. Stand in front of the wall and hold the chuck in front of your face and see if you can make a straight circle like that. That's the first part. The second part is do the exact opposite. See if you can hold it behind you without smacking the back of your head like this. This is actually a lot harder to do than if you were to do a figure 8 by your head. And it's generally easier to do it by the shoulder to start with. So get a little bit wider and start at the shoulder. And then as you get more comfortable, pull it slowly up towards the top of your head. Yeah, Brian, that's a toughie, isn't it? Yeah.
Is this a little bit better?
You know, you're actually doing the horizontal by your head. You're kind of going like this by your head right now.
That's what I thought.
It's pretty cool though. What we're trying to do is go a little bit more vertical. So like if I were to stand straight, you see how it makes a circle this way? Yours is actually kind of making more of a circle, like it's going over your head and down, which is actually like, we do that when we want to do strikes, like whoosh, like here, because this one's kind of like clearing over the head. I think we might have actually worked on that strike before too, but yours is just a little bit more horizontal. So we have this type of strike pattern that's happening. Yeah, yeah. Yours has that because it's kind of trailing by over the head, but it's going in a horizontal motion like a helicopter. There you go. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's it, man. That's it. Yep. Then once you got to get both hands to do that. Anthony says the wrist motion by the head looks like a hip reel. It absolutely, man. You know, when you, it doesn't matter where the location is, whether you're, even if I have one hand and we're doing this type of spin, or we're doing it by the head, or doing it by the shoulder, or even doing it by the other side, the hand motions are very, very similar no matter where your hand is when you're trying to curve around your body. A lot of times there's this arcing motion that happens, and you can almost feel like you're scooping sand out with your hand. It's a very interesting scooping feel. No matter what, whenever you're doing these types of figure eights across any part of your body, you should always feel the circular motion. And matter of fact, this is great. This is great training, and you can just use one hand. One great training method is to think of, where can I figure eight around my body? Like, just try to see if you can figure eight all around your body in every direction, or at least all the ones that you're comfortable with. And all these are just figure eights that we're pulling across different parts of our body. And just explore and experiment. Now, you could hit yourself a lot more if you're not comfortable with this. So make sure you use lightweight chucks. But this is also a reminder that you don't always have to spin in front of your chest. You can actually, I find that like everything looks better when you incorporate weaving around your body, you know, as opposed to just keeping it straight by your side. It's, especially with newer people or people that just get set in their ways, it's very typical to always want to spin right here or like here. So you have this space that's around chest level. And when I think nunchucks gets really fun is when you use your own body as an obstacle, or you use footwork to create as a problem to figure out. So like this, once you get used to this, you may do this, but if you can do the reverse, then you can go on the opposite side, and all of a sudden we have something that looks a lot more complicated. But really, I'm just learning two techniques: the reverse version of what I just did, and 180-degree footwork to turn with it. And then it just gives it more of a, like this really nice flare, you know, more dynamics. But yeah, you're gonna notice hip reels and over the heads and by the shoulders, and even these, like all of this stuff is very similar in how the hands have to move. They have to kind of scoop and sweep. You're gonna notice there's all of this kind of sweeping motion that happens. Your hands will eventually get used to it. But if you try the figure eights around all parts of your body, it'll really open you up. And then do the reverse as well, which can really throw things off too. And if anytime you find yourself struggling at a part, just focus on it. Say you can't, like maybe you don't have a good spin behind the back of your left shoulder over here. Just practice it until you are comfortable with it. So basically, as you're navigating through the body, if you find any trouble parts, I might have a trouble part like, well, yeah, even like this is a tough one. You know, it's like a figure, like people will say the figure eight is a very basic move, and they're absolutely right. But have you tried doing a figure eight like behind your opposite shoulder, back in front of you? Like it's a lot harder, you know, or here to under the armpit, back to the over the head, back to under the armpit. Like just having that plane control will open up a lot. And while it may not look so cool, when you have two of them, like that motion right there was doing that figure eight And it just looks different than if we just did this the whole time. So now we have the option of going here, but since we know the armpit, we can go back to it. So using your body, you can do the same techniques and just start splitting it up, and it becomes a whole new visual as well as feel to yourself. Does that make sense, right, Brian?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we were kind of working on that. I was mostly showing you the core techniques. We haven't gone totally into the body work yet, but you do have a lot of techniques though, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you definitely do have a lot. So, I'm gonna read a couple of comments off really quick here.
Okay.
Mr. Cadden says, Mr. Ken, I'm planning to do a show with neon nunchucks. Can you give any advice? Yeah, when you do shows with nunchucks, the best advice I can give you is stop thinking about the techniques you do and start recording yourself and looking at the patterns that you create. It's really important because what feels like if you're doing a show for, well, I should say if you're doing a show for people, and not just for yourself, if you do it for yourself, you can do whatever you want. But if you do a show for people, it's the only way that they're going to feel it is what they see. Just keep that in mind. So what you want to make is really cool patterns, big sweeping moves. The farther away you are, the bigger it generally should be. And as you get closer, you can do like more intricate moves, right? But if I was standing far back here and I did these intricate moves, it looked like this, you know? And here it's like when people are watching you from far away, it's better to do big body motions. If you can get close to the audience, yeah, do your crazy stuff there in their face. But the farther back away you are from the crowd, the bigger you generally want to be in your movements. Even just figure eights and jumping and all that jazz could work a lot better than doing the super hard moves. If it's just small movements, like it just depends. Like if you're very small and articulate right here, then it's going to be hard for the crowd to really see it, especially when you're back here and you're doing like, infinite S catches and things like that. If I was up close, yeah, do these moves. Do them for sure. So start thinking about how you want to strategize your techniques. There's close up, there's far away, there's big, there's small, mix it all up. Now, Jigu Flow Tutorial says, Infinity Aerial is easier, lower grip. Ha, that windmill's so hard. Wrist motion by the head looks like a hip reel. I think I already read this, didn't I? I learned the windmill before I learned the infinite aerial. Isn't it crazy? Like some people are just gonna get it like right away, certain techniques right away, and other people aren't. For Brian, he got the butterfly faster than I got it. Brian was able to get the butterfly pretty quick. Okay, float chucks, I'm here now. Nunchuck Flow Tutorial says, go more into the anti-spin. It looks so sweet. What's up, Brandon?
What's up, my guys?
How you doing, man?
Dylan.
We're on YouTube right now, just so you know. We're live streaming.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's what's up. What's up, YouTube?
Everyone, this is Brandon. Brandon's awesome. Do you have your chucks with you by chance?
No nunchucking skills at all.
Oh, dang. That's too bad. I was just watching this show called Velocipaster. Have you guys seen that show?
No.
It's the best horrible movie you'll ever watch. It's basically about a priest that turns into a velociraptor and kills people. And at the end of the show, he's fighting ninjas because, that's what pastors do. He's fighting ninjas, and he pulls out foam nunchucks, and that was great. I was like, oh my God, he's using foam nunchucks to fight ninjas. This is hilarious. It's definitely a good show if you don't take movies seriously. It was funny. It was very funny. It's on Amazon Prime, y'all. Velocipaster. It's so bad, it's good.
That's like those free voodoo movies. If you ever look on the free section in voodoo, there's like Titanic 2. And you're like, what the hell is Titanic?
I don't know. Jack's back and he's a zombie or something. Yeah.
So I caught a little bit of the live stream. I was out driving, so I wasn't home yet to get on. But
okay, cool.
About the plane bending.
Yeah.
And it is definitely hard when you're going from vertical to try to go into a horizontal.
But, it really is.
But I got there's the one thumb roll where you're in reverse grip and you catch the opposite truck in a front grip after you do the thumb roll, and it goes from a vertical. When you do it, it makes it kind of shoot horizontally every time because it's like the only way to get it to roll. But it's like that.
Oh, sick! Yeah, wow. You know what's crazy is most people won't even see that. Like, I saw it, but that's awesome.
From doing every trick that you can think of one way, and then it can be done reverse. So then I was like, well, I guess I could do a thumb roll like this, But it's the kind of move that like I'll be spinning vertically, and as soon as I do it, I have to go into a horizontal because if I try to keep it vertical, it shoots out your hand like that. Because the way it rolls over your thumb to catch it, you have to like scoop up under it and turn it to the side, and then it starts going horizontal or diagonally, but basically into a horizontal plane bend. Is that?
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
Like it's hard to keep it going vertical because it instantly plane bends.
Oh, Indigo's with us too. Awesome. What's up, man?
Vertical.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that looks sick. I see that. Yeah, that's awesome. Real quick, if you guys are just joining us, we've been doing this every Sunday. We do a Protricks stream, and that's people on Patreon. You can see it. It's a Protricks link. I do a Zoom class usually from 1 to 2. I don't even know if it's really a class. It's more of a get-together kind of class, but we're just sharing our stuff. Figured we just stream it live on YouTube today, and these are our regulars. We've got Brandon, Indigo, and Brian.
It definitely is helpful, though. Like, every time I meet with you, I come away with something or something more to work on, and it's not like, just like, oh, we're getting together. It's like, no, I'm progressing, and it's at a point where sometimes you don't think you can progress any further. You just look at this guy, It's like,
shoot. You know what's I think is cool is like as people get better too, it's like Brandon or Indigo will just come up with a new trick, just some crazy new move, and then we'll just explore it and make up new moves on top of that. Like that's happened before a few times.
Many a times, just being in it with you, that's what it'll be something you do, and then I'll think of something, and then I couldn't have did it. I couldn't have even thought it if I wouldn't have seen something out of you that made it happen, to be honest. So it definitely is a collaborative thing. And it's cool to know that it's like you're still able to find so much out of the chucks, man.
Oh my gosh, so much. And I just feel like too, like as we like start learning new tricks, I feel like some of the new tricks could be a whole style on itself if we just kept going with it.
Exactly. I think so too.
What's up, Indigo? Oh, sorry, I was just getting carried away here. I saw a question about, let me get back on the chat really quick here. Chicken Flow Tutorials, Anthony wants to know more about that anti-spin that I was doing, and I can show you that. By the way, Santiago, good to see you again, man. That's great. Couldn't find the link to join, but I'll watch and play from here. Oh, it's Indigo. Okay, we got that one. I gotcha. Mr. Cadden says, thanks for the advice. And then MUI fan asks for L strikes. So I'll cover really quick the anti-spin and the L strikes. The anti-spin is a little bit tricky. You got to get used to being able to spin on a diamond pattern. So if we're in weave, right? From a weave, both chucks going the same direction. We start with our arms crossed. So this isn't something you'll be able to just pick up unless you have some pretty good concepts already. But essentially you start off here, 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 and back. So this becomes the anti-spin. The prerequisite is that you know how to do an anti-spin with both hands. If you can't do an anti-spin with both hands, you won't be able to get this trick off because I'm just going to explain this very quickly. You start with your arms crossed. This is version 1. Anti-spin 2 is 1 up, left down, right across, left across, left up, right down, and then here. And then we have crossed arms and we go back. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and back. And then you got to learn the opposite direction. And the easiest way that I find the opposite is just do a double stall. Oops. And I still kind of suck at this. Oh my gosh, these chucks. I love them, but there we go. So my favorite chucks right now are a little bit broken, which is too bad. So I'm just getting through it. So once you can do the reverse of it, then it's as simple as the moment we go from here and we're just about ready to turn, we instead do a 3-beat weave to cross over to the opposite end. Reverse 3-beat weave back. And that allows us to do the turns. 3-beat cross, reverse 3-beat cross. That's the lowdown on how to do it. But just get comfortable with this first, seeing if you can get all four points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 5 points. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the L strikes. The L strike pattern, or the triangle strike patterns, is one that I really like. Both hands by the shoulders. You're going to cross your body down to your hip, other side of the hip, and back up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then try it with the other hand. Cross, same, up. Cross, same, up. And of course, you want to practice the opposite too. Same, cross, up. Same, cross, up. Same, cross, up. Same, cross, up. Because you want to be able to go both directions. And essentially what's going to happen is you're going to do the strike, but on their second strike, the other one's going to start moving. So 1, 2, and now they're all moving independently. 3, 1, 2, and you're back to where you were. 3. So this is really just coordinating them together. So again, I'm going to do it one more time. We're here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we start the pattern off with the right hand, but then we change it to 1, 2. They both strike, and then they're both doing those independent patterns. And you'll notice every time we hit 2, we're back to here. Boom, boom, boom. Now what's going to happen, because this doesn't really have, this has more of a very static feel, you're going to move one hand slightly faster than the other. So then it'll look like this. 1, 2, 3. Do you see how it's going ba 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 ba? So once you get comfortable with that pattern, you're thinking this type of motion. Instead of like this, where both chucks are moving at the same time, you're thinking 1, 2. If you're just to make a sound, go ba 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 ba. And then you have this, boom, boom. You'll see like it has almost like this chasing feel. It has a much better feel than if we're just doing it at the same time like this. If we split the timing just a hair, move one hand faster, then they're both going da 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 da. And that's the L strike in a nutshell. Gosh, and we were working on flick back throws. Remember those?
Yep.
Yep. Oh, you did a little Simex on that last one, man. That was cool. You did that works better with heavier chucks.
Yeah, it does.
But that was pretty sick. That's a hard move. Where'd my heavy chucks go? That's going to be like if you kind of do a stall and you push the bottom out. Oh, let me see. It's been a minute. Like that, kind of. There it is. Push the bottom out to exchange sides before they catch. That was pretty sad. Pretty sad, Ken. It's almost like you haven't done this in a while. I haven't. Not this move. I feel like if you put enough force into it, you could probably have to do a double or something. I don't know. That's more of an experimental thing, but I definitely like the flick throws. That's right, because we were working on I'll just do this one. We're in, what was it? Reverse butterfly, and then we swing under here, and then we do the flick and back, so we're in crank. So it's like reverse butterfly, swing under, flick, crank, then you do the throw. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reverse butterfly, flick under, do the reverse flick, which will put us back into crank, and then do the other hand throw to finish it off. Whoosh, Whoosh. I'm using 2 different weights here. So many moves, y'all. Hey, Brandon, and oh, Indigo, by the way, we can't hear your voice. I don't know if you can, if your audio's off, but I just can't hear you. Give me just a second, too. I think we got a Facebook. There we go. All right. Yeah, man. Definitely like the flick throws. What's that?
So, all right. So earlier, I also seen we was talking about doing the catches and catching it in front grip and being able to keep it the same way, and then catch it in reverse grip, or it goes how it like goes against your wrist and it's hard to do.
I mean, you technically can pull it down and keep it there. I just find it's easier. And just like you could catch it and reverse it in overhand grip too. But yeah, generally speaking, like you can catch it in overhand grip and reverse it, but generally it's easier to just pull it down.
Well, I was gonna say that there's like this, like if you bring it in like toward like the outer part of the wrist a little bit, like you can get this so that you know how when you do the back to back, it just like it goes against your wrist and it instantly just wants to stop. It just wants to stop like that. If you just push it a little bit further out with like this extra little turn of the wrist, you can get that. Like it's really a hard thing to keep going in a flow though. But like,
dude, it's like creating a little baby. Yeah.
I
mean, a nunchuck baby.
First, and then, but I just want to share that too because I was like, yeah, it's every time you wind up in the reverse and it goes against your wrist, it just instantly like you want to bounce it back or something. But if you
that's so true. Yeah, yeah.
It literally the rope literally goes along the whole wrist too when I'm doing this. It's just like scraping my wrist the whole time. But it's like that extra turn of the wrist. I just wanted to share that.
What Brandon's showing everyone, if you guys aren't catching it, is usually when we do it back to back, the wrist faces outward, which causes the rope to swing across the back of the wrist. But if you tuck the hand under or you tuck it through here, it'll actually scrape past it and it'll go forever. Basically, when the hand gets in the way, it has to roll. But if you can get it out of the way, it won't roll.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Gabriel Alexander Ford, I think, had a video on a figure eight that you can do where it kind of comes from over to under like this from the back end of it. It's like this reverse figure eight using the cradle position. So it's like basically you're learning to get it from here. You see how it's to the outside of the wrist?
Nice.
And then you swing it to this direction, and then you get it to the top of the wrist. So you have the top of the wrist to the bottom of the wrist, and then you can just kind of swing between all 3 of those positions and have like this really weird looking figure eight. Can't remember what he called it though, but it looked like that.
Oh, nice.
You got that to that to that.
And then we could do it in reverse.
Yeah, you can. You can. I have to think about that. Anytime though, you can just straighten your wrist out and it becomes a roll. So if we're doing this motion here, anytime we just keep our wrist steady and it becomes the back-to-back roll, and then we can go back into it. So it's like.
Yeah, I like Gabriel, man. He's a good guy. He was at Plaything. I saw him get a Plaything.
Ooh, yeah. Gabe knows what's up, man.
Yeah,
Gabe knows what's up.
He's a multi-props guy. Yeah, the double stabs. He's sick with the double stabs too.
He is super. His flow is just awesome. So smooth.
Real humble.
So smooth. Then checking flight tutorials. I messaged you on Facebook with where I am. Let's see. Yeah, so I'll definitely take a look at that and see what you're talking about, man. I'm sure we can get it ironed out. MUI fan. So yeah, I'll check it out. We're just about closing up on this session right now. That we're getting close. MUI says that nunchuck elbow spins are too hard to learn. I'm trying to think which elbow spins we're talking about. You guys know of any elbow spins? I mean,
there's like
I'm thinking of the chicken wing.
Contact elbow stuff, or maybe the chicken wing.
I was thinking chicken wing, maybe. That is a hard one.
That
I guess
I don't do it. That pinches me.
it pinches me too.
So
You gotta have a special kind. Like actually, I believe foamies work better if you can get the control of these. These don't hurt so bad, the chicken wing. But the dark monk chucks do pinch a little bit more because mostly you have that. The thing that helps with the finger rolls will get you on the chicken wing. It'll definitely pinch you.
Yo, facts.
Yep. But this one's harder to escape from too, because usually I go into a back grip and then I do a 720 hand roll. But with these guys, they're just so light that I can't get that 720 to work, where I can with the dark monks. The dark monks, I'm just like, boom, catch it here, flip it through, do the 720. You got to do it faster, so it's gonna fly off. Do the 720 with a pop of the shoulder, and it'll go all the way through. I'll try to do it faster so it looks, you can see what I'm saying. Oh, of course I'm not gonna be able to do it because I'm on camera, even after 10 years. That's fine. That's it right there. It still happens, guys. Gorilla74 says hi. Oh, by the way, Indigo, I'm sorry. Like, I forgot to mention to you, man. Like, I see you, but I can't hear you. We still can't hear you yet, dude. But I hope you're doing. Yeah, it says it's trying to connect. But I hope you're doing good, man.
Me too.
So yeah, with regards to changing directions, stalls and bounces are usually the best ways that I like to do it. So keep in mind, like especially when we're doing doubles, you know, there's those 4 patterns of doubles that if you want to change direction, like if I'm going here into the 3-beat weave and I want to go to a butterfly, I basically just bounce a chuck. So you can see that when I go over here, my left hand bounces underneath and it causes one of the chucks to change direction because right now they're both going counterclockwise. I bounce one and you'll notice as it bounces, it changes the rotation, which all of a sudden allows us to go one clockwise, one counterclockwise. I bounce it again and then now we're going the same direction opposite way. And then I bounce the other one and now we're doing a reverse butterfly. If I bounce the original one again, we're back to the original spot. So it goes in those 4 positions. It's either a bounce or a stall. So if using heavier chucks, I always say it's better to stall because then you don't have all that weight of the chuck hitting you, which is basically you just drop it and you change directions. But if you have fast chucks, you might as well just bounce it. That's just what I would suggest. Well, I've got a couple more questions for you all before we call it quits today. What's your current favorite moves, guys? What are some chuck moves that you find are fun right now for where you're at? What do you enjoy?
I've been working the. I saw that upstall Simex. I've been trying to get that. I usually drill the things that I'm not very good at. So upstalling is a bitch. Or I'm sorry, but and then the Simex part of it. It's like it's more than just like a.
Are you talking about where we flick it up like that, or are you talking about where we're actually trying to change the positioning?
Yeah, pulling the string where you upstall, pull the string, and it makes.
Oh, you're talking about this one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta get this lower. Hold on one second. That one, where we're pulling it back and it creates a Simex on the way back. Yeah. If I had my other chucks, man. This one requires.
It's not like a stall flick. It's not like the flick where we stall out and flick it. It's more like the pull with the string.
Yeah. So we're doing an upstall and you reach as high as you can and you pull backwards, which causes this to Simex backwards as we go that way, right? Is that what you're talking about?
And then from there you can do the butterfly back and forth, but I can't even do the sideways one at all. So you know what I'm saying? The sideways one. I can't do a horizontal butterfly yet.
That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't done that move in ages too. Jeez.
But I just try to work on the things that I can't get, because if you can't get them, then you gotta keep going until you get them.
Heck yeah, man. Then there's also a side stall, and I probably can't do it anymore, but you run a side stall and then you float it down and then you pull up and you Simex it all the way back up. So it's like it's coming down this direction, but then you pull up with your finger, which causes them to cross, and you pull it up. It's kind of like an elevator. Let's see. No, I'm not going to get it now. The hard part is trying to get them to not cross into each other, because they're going to want to cross in. So you have to add a little bit of diagonalness to it.
I like that. I like that.
If you can get it really nice and clean, though, it'll be like stop, drop, flip, catch.
I like that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I just want to say thanks for watching us, MUI fan. Get some good rest. Hope you do well, man, and see you soon.
I think my favorite move is the snake right now.
Snakes, yes, those are nice. Mm-hmm. I don't really have a favorite move right now. Like I said, I think I want to get my favorite pair of Chucks back to working again, just because I don't know about you guys, you just kind of get used to a certain feel and a certain length. And whenever I use different ones, I've been struggling a little bit more. Even with these cool new prototypes that I absolutely love, I'm still struggling. Just because I'm so used to like this one particular one. I think that Dark Monk Chucks definitely spoiled me.
I'm the same way. That's why I don't train with any other Chucks than these, because I take the training more serious than using another Chuck. Like I want to get the best. I want to get the best feel for the move, so I don't need to use the other ones. I got one I like, and I don't want to mess with. Yeah, I don't want to mess with it at all. I do videos of those, but when I'm learning, I stick with these. I stick with the ones I like.
That makes sense, man. No, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I actually, the newest pair of Dark Monks I really love. I just need to get it a little bit shorter. It's just a little bit too, like I've got a little bit too much string on here. So whenever I do tricks, like usually, you know how it just kind of dangles, like I have a lot of excess string on here. So a lot of the moves that I'm just not used to that extra length yet. And instead of getting used to it, I just want to I think I'm just going to try to shorten this length. This will be perfect. I just need about an inch off of it. And that is like my ideal prime length is like about that. As opposed to that.
That's the original ones. That's the original ones you've been using, right? The original.
Well, this is a new model of it, which is a lot thicker padding, which I really like. It has a good weight and feel. It's just a little bit long on the string, and I'm messing up. And this is because of me. This is because I'm used to having shorter strings is all. But I know that there's a way to do it, so I'm gonna go find out. I'm gonna go bug chat and see, because being able to like tailor the length of your chuck has more to do with just like the individual preference of the user than the build of the chuck maker. Like it doesn't mean it's a bad build at all. It just means that I just need a shorter pair because that's my style.
Yeah, 4.5 inches is about perfect. That's about.
I mean, let's look at Sam Wrigley, Sam Spinstorm. His rope's like probably down to here. Like it's like the super long rope, and he just kills it. So like some people can do the long rope thing. I just need just a little bit shorter.
Michael likes the long ropes. Lorazzo, he likes them.
Oh yeah. Longer ropes is really good for those manipulations, of course, like these kinds of things. You could probably even go.
I like the chain. I don't want to go back to the rope. It's like I like the chain.
Yeah, and you know what? You should stick with what you really like. There's no point in going to the rope if you don't want to.
Yeah, I'm surprised y'all don't like the chain. I'm surprised y'all don't see the big difference. It hurts a little, but like moving around.
I can say like one finger wheels are so much easier with longer ropes than shorter ones. Like I can definitely hold a one finger wheel so much longer with the longer rope. Like that just rocks, and that just goes with. No matter what pair of chucks you use, your techniques, some techniques will be easier and some will be harder. So it's really about your style. Because like when I'm doing wheels and stuff, the longer rope, snap. So much easier. Just kind of wants to sit on your fingers longer.
Yeah.
The reverse is way harder too.
I don't recall you ever doing the one finger wheel.
I can't do the reverse.
Brian, we never actually worked on the one finger wheel. We did the two. We did the
I
two.
didn't even know there was a one finger.
Oh yeah, there is. It's the trick to the one finger wheel is it's a lot harder. The one finger wheel is a lot harder. And the trick really is that as the wheel is spinning, okay, so I always start with two. Some people just go straight into it from one. I always start with two, and I usually let my right hand just continue the lead. But you have to feel, and this is a feeling thing. I do not know how to describe this because this thing is rolling really fast. You have to find a pattern where as your finger's sliding through the rope or the chain, you have to scoot it back in the middle of the spin so it can reset because it's slowly rolling to the other side. You got to scoot your finger back as it's slowly rolling. So it's almost like there's this bounce that happens where you have this disconnect. I think Indigo would probably be better at describing that. I'm pretty sure Indigo knows how to do this. But you do have to like scoot your finger into the chain while it's spinning with one hand in order to keep it going infinitely. And if you can't, then you eventually just reach the other end. There it is. But it's really, maybe I'll put it in slow motion so you can see, but it's kind of scooting back and forth along the same part of the chuck. It's really hard to see when we're going fast, and there's no way to do it slowly that I know of.
Index finger? Are you using index finger or the?
I'm using my pointer finger, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I generally say it's got to go nice and fast too. Myself, I think it has to go fast, not too fast, but it can't be bent at all. And then it kind of has to feel kind of like a stick. It's still going to have like a little bit of a bend to it, but you're just trying to reach into that pocket. Wish I could describe it better. Maybe as I get better at doing it, if I practiced it more, I could. But since I haven't practiced it much, I don't really know how to break that move down, and there's no way to do it slowly.
Oh.
It's definitely the kind of move that you do day in and out for like 3 weeks straight before you before you get it like 3 times, and then you're like, okay, now I'm starting to get the feel, because I made it my mission. Once I seen it was possible, I was like, that was like, to me, mind blowing. And it was very discouraging, bro. I dropped my trucks a million times for like 2 weeks. That's all I did. Just try to get straight into it, do it from the wheel.
Can you do it, man?
You got to get that knock, like he's talking about. There's that little crevice and that little knock that when
you'll feel it, like it's got to slip. You got to get your hand to slip into the rope or chain to reset it. Otherwise, you'll hit the other end, and that's that. And I don't know how to describe that feel. I just kind of like go like this, like boom, 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 boom. It's almost like mechanical. It's almost sharp to get that reset because I'm trying to slide my finger through. It's not trying to roll through. You have to disconnect and slide it back. But I honestly don't know how to describe it any better right now.
Fire.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I can't do it in my wheel plane. I can do it in the wall plane.
Isn't that funny? I can't do wall plane. No, can't do it. For me, it's yeah, that's hilarious, man. We got to trade notes, man.
We do.
Yo, okay.
Out of that upstall,
you guys see, I got a brand new hula hoop.
Did you? Wow.
Yeah, I'm a hooper now.
You've been a hooper.
Oh yeah. No, I just made an investment on a lot of Pixel products. I don't actually know what I'm doing here, but it is cool looking. Yeah, I got some new Pixel Poi, and these are 28 inches. Yeah. These are Pyroterras though.
Those are pretty standard 28. That's what most should be using.
Yeah, well, I'm not doing on-body hooping. It's all like manipulations with the hands. It's mostly for like the people in my circus group. That's a totally different ballpark.
Right.
Yeah, got a little. You guys can see I've got a bunch of crap in the background. I've been doing a lot of LED work lately.
Cool.
All right, so out of that upstall Simex thing, I've been doing this a lot lately, where I side stall it and I just take my pointer finger and wrap it around and cross them like a moon wave, kind of like that. Just like across, just by like letting it lay on my finger and letting go of the other one and turning my hand to grab this one. You see what I'm saying? So it just like goes across like that.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Right.
If you have a really short rope on your chucks, you can also do that to substitute for a moonwave. Like if you're just trying to get that exchange with one finger, I think that's what you're doing, right? You're kind of exchanging it, but not leaving it in the loop.
Yeah. You can't
I
really,
don't know.
you can't really do it infinitely because you can't re-wrap the finger around. But as like a stall and then a flip, it's more than it's kind of like an inner hand roll or something, but just around the finger. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But
I see
got
that.
that out of that XMX stall thing. That's
See, you're just like, that's what I love is like people can come up with their own stuff. And by the way, I remember what you're talking about now too. When we're doing that upstall, the goal, and I've never been able to do this, and I'm hoping someday someone will. You basically, as you pull back, it wraps your fingers, but then you can wrap your middle finger to go back the other way. So it's something like this, you know? Wow. So it goes back and forth. But then if you do it good enough, you should be able to go back and forth with this kind of motion, exchanging pointer finger, middle finger, pointer finger, middle. But I have never like gotten the skill to finish. I can't get the middle finger part to cross over perfectly. But I think it can be done, and I think someone someday is going to be able to like rock that thing out.
Yeah,
that might be a little small.
That horizontal butterfly is a trip. It's like even trying to figure that out. It's like it's not like a butterfly. You got the gravity, and you know what I mean. So
yeah. There's got to be a lot of force all the time in it to keep it going, or it's just going to fall over.
And I get like this chuck could pass this chuck in front, or this chuck could pass this chuck in front, or it could be going the other way, doing the same thing upwards. But like,
check it out, yo! It's like almost there. It's like here to there, but then it has to change again, and that's where I can't get. So it's like, Hadouken! Oh shit! It crashed into itself. Hadouken! God dang it! When I say watch, it never works. There's a question. Real quick, how many techniques do you know? Alistair asks. I mean, I used to keep a database, and I was up to 370 something techniques. But we're talking that was 6 years ago, so I have no clue now. No clue. It was about almost 400 6 years ago or 700. I wrote them all down, but then I stopped counting.
It's definitely hard to keep track of a list of moves. That's what got me wanting to like. I don't know. I wanted to start teaching, and I wanted to get a compiled list of moves. And then I found you, and I was like, I don't have any amount of list of moves like this. So.
Oh, dude. Well, it's like, how do you like? Okay, so we've got a thumb rolls. That's a move, but is this a different move because it's inverted? It has different technique. And then we have this. Like, how do you categorize the different moves? Like, I started running into problems with this because very small variations of the same technique are very different too, right. To the point where it's like, this feels like a different technique, but it looks the same. It's kind of this, is this a different move or is this just, you know, so right. Like eventually you like run out of, you know.
A thumb roll is pretty easy compared to a horizontal thumb roll.
Yeah, and then it, inverted horizontal compared to like an upside, like that one's so much easier because you've got gravity working for you, where here it wants to fall to the ground, right? Yeah. So it's like, are those different techniques or are they the same technique? Because otherwise that's 3 techniques.
Right. Yeah, I was happy to find Protricks, man.
Thanks, man.
Protricks was a godsend, at least for me, because it was like what I wanted to do, but already being done times 10, and I was like, okay, well, here we go. And then you even put them together where you could, when you click the one move, it'll stream to what moves could come next out of that.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
it was like there's so much intricacy to like the detail in your moves. So like, man, that's what I think most people, if they even see that diagram or seen that chart or
yeah, that chart was insanely intense. You know, I actually thought about making a card game though, like, because it's really hard to describe these techniques and how they chain together. But if we had cards, you could have visuals like where if you match the symbol on the cards together, then you know that they chain together in a combo. So you could like throw out random cards and put them together and turn them into random combos, you know?
Wow. I would buy that game.
I think it'd be a really cool idea. I just feel like the biggest problem is nunchucks is so niche that like, I mean, like I spent 2 years. I think the hardest part was when I spent 2 years working on that website, and it's still pretty awesome. But it's like in the end, it's like, well, people don't really use websites. So I think my big concern is that I would put a lot of work into something because that website definitely didn't work the way I hoped it would, and that's okay. That's okay. But I just mean like whatever I do, I like teaching people right now live stream because I know it's benefiting people. I absolutely know because they're asking me directly questions, you know.
For sure.
But if I make like this card game, say I spend a year working on it and it's just like, you know, no one really uses it, you know, or whatever. I don't know. I guess that's why I've kind of moved away from trying to make these big elaborate things and just keeping it more personal.
Well, it's like you said, nunchucks are so flow arts themselves are like a special thing to even talk about nunchucks in flow. It's like
it's so small. It's like here's flow arts, here's nunchucks. You know?
You're right.
Yeah.
Everybody that's a nunchucker, hi everybody in India or everybody in other world countries, because ain't nobody in the United States part of the nunchuck group really. We got like, if you took the map of everybody, I'm sure everyone else is across the world, except there's very little of us in the United States. So I appreciate all the chuckers in the world. There's like what nunchuck pioneers like what 3,000 in the group.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
we got like we're going up to we was a 6, now we're getting up to 7 on the rope dart. It's like, you know, people who or poi or
oh my gosh, yeah, so many of them. Yeah,
like even Dragon Staff's got like a solid following. You know, it's chuckers as I feel like when people are poi and then they come to double chucks, they're like, you can do so much more with double chucks than you can with poi, because it's like everywhere you go against your hand, you can roll it, or you can, you know what I'm saying? It's not just, you're no longer dealing with the little balls and holding handles. You're now dealing with a handle with sticks that, you know what I mean? So I just feel like chucks are the best flow art, period. You know what I mean?
I love them, man. I definitely love them. I mean, home base for me, so.
I've had several flow artists play with the chucks and realize that, you know, like it just goes across your hand and lands right back when you let it go. And some people, they just get it, and some people they just don't, you know. But like it's cool to see a flow artist fall right into their hand, and then like, wow, they're like, that felt good. And it's like, that's why it's, and that's another thing, man. I feel like when people drop their prop, people always talk shit about like, oh, you dropped it. Well, do you understand that I'm literally letting it go like multiple times a second? Like, you know what I mean? I'm letting this go and catching it and letting it go and catching it before I even caught it. You know what I mean? So,
I hear you.
And all you see is it's just spinning around my hand. You don't even know like where I'm at control of it or any of that. So when you drop it and somebody's like, oh, you dropped it, it's like, well, it's not even really been in my hand most of the time, because as soon as it exits. So it's
and
like, inevitably you're gonna drop it. Whereas with other props, I feel like poi, you're not, unless you're doing a lot of throws, you're not, or you know what I mean, you're not really, you don't let go of your handles of your props too often.
Well, I also think that with chucks, like, because they generally are speedier, they're generally spun faster too. But I mean, I'm gonna admit, like, a lot of the cool double chuck moves I stole from poi, so I be loving the poi. Actually, I like glow stringing better than poi, but I don't practice enough. Like all these like bounces here, like, so you can have your L strikes, but then you have all this stuff here, all these bounces here that we did are all from glow stringing. Then you just turned it back into nunchucks, you know? So like, I definitely like what it has to offer, but you're right, like the symmetrical ends can give you some really cool additional patterns that are a lot harder to do with poi. The one thing I can say is poi, with the balls, sometimes they can do contact rolls, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the contact poi is a whole nother ball game though, because I see contact pois, it's like technical poi. It's like your upgrade. When you've been poing for a while, you got to go to contact poi at some point.
But I mean, like X catches and stuff, these are very unique to chucks. Like you won't see a hooper. I guess you could do it with the staff too, but X catches and infinite X catches, just because you got that bendable center, there's different kinds of motions and bends and twists that are very unique to Chuck's. All the Simexes, these kinds of things.
Yeah.
No, my goodness. You know what I'm saying. Anyways.
Right. Look at us, like, you know, nerding out over Chuck's here.
Yeah, in front of the YouTube channel. With that said, though, you guys, I think, you know, just so you guys know, I'm going to be out of town next week, so I may have to push our next meeting to Monday. Is that cool, guys?
All good, my guy. You know, whenever you have it is when I make it.
Cool. So we'll talk about postponing the channel, the next Zoom class, and one of these times we'll have to go back live on YouTube again. And this is what we do, though. This is to everyone that's still watching on YouTube or whatnot. This is what we do. We chat about all kinds of things, and we train and do that once a week. So, you guys, thanks again for joining us. Thanks YouTube channel as well.
See you
See y'all next Sunday.
Y'all take care. See y'all soon.